What do these have in common? The bags that are made to carry cameras and camera accessories are also really good at carrying trading card games and trading card game accessories. A while back, I made a video about how photography backpacks are actually great for trading card games. And at the time, I had an Amazon Basics bag that I really liked. It did well for me. I had some issues with it, but it was a good bag overall. Definitely worth the price. But it was around this time that I discovered this bag, the Peak Design 20-liter everyday backpack. And I decided to save up and get it for my trip to Magic 30. And I can say hands down, this is the best purchase I made in 2022. In fact, I even featured the bag in my favorite things for 2022 and promised to have this review up in a couple of weeks. I'm sorry it took me a couple of months. Now, I have actually recorded this video more times than I'd like to admit, and either the result I didn't care for, or there was something wrong with the lighting or the sound, and eventually I decided, you know what, let me give the bag one more spin around an event before I give a full review. It was a bit of a refresher to remind myself what I really like about the bag, and then maybe anything that I could nitpick about, which we all know I like to do. Before I get into the video, I wanted to mention Mtech Cave. They have designed a collection system, a set of drawers. They also make a lot of items for local game stores, but also can be used by collectors as well. And I recommend you go check them out. A lot of their stuff is laser cut or 3D printed. A lot of their stuff is really ingenious, and I think you should go check it out. I do have an affiliate link in the description, and if you use that, you will get 5% off of your purchase and you help the channel out. So I do recommend you go check that out. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I got this bag for Magic 30 in Vegas. I had a good time. The bag handled very well at that event, and it was doing double duty there because I only had a carry-on and a personal item, so it was acting as my personal item on the plane, and so it had to handle more than just trading card game accessories and gear, and it did really well with that. I had higher expectations for the Philly event. They were tempered expectations, but they were higher. Getting in was easy, figuring out where to go was a little difficult, that they could have had better signage, but once the show started, it all kind of made sense, and I must say the sheer size of the venue was staggering. The place was just massive. Now, when I'm using this bag week to week, it's 90% trading card games and about 10% camera bag. But when I go to an event, it's split more like 60-40, where it's 60% trading card games and 40% camera bag, because I have to have more gear. I have more lenses, extra batteries, handheld tripods, that sort of thing that I stick in the bag, and it takes up a little bit more space that I have to give up on the trading card game side. And that's not even talking about main travel days where I might have a completely different loadout depending on how I'm traveling, whether it's car, train, plane, that sort of thing. The Peak Design 20-liter travel backpack was designed with the everyday photographer in mind. It has a lot of storage for cameras and camera accessories. And as I've noted in my previous videos, trading card game stuff fits in those spaces too, and the fact that this bag was designed for the everyday photographer to be able to get to their stuff quickly, use it, and then stow it quickly means that it works well for Magic players too. But what I really like about the bag is when they designed it, they recognized that when photographers go about their everyday lives, they aren't just carrying photography gear, they're carrying other things. They're carrying laptops, paperwork, an extra set of clothes, candy. I don't know what you carry. I carry card game stuff. So because of that, it is very versatile. If you've been watching the channel for any amount of time, you know that versatility is something I like. Okay, so I've been talking a lot about this bag. Well, what's the feature set? One of the main features of this bag is it has top access, where you can put stuff in the top of the bag. It also has side access for you to access the sides of the bag. And the side access is both sides. You probably noticed that there's multiple latches. You actually can expand the bag very easily. So if you have a lot more stuff to load into the top, then you just open it up and now you have this much more space. If you latch it up here, you can fill it up to the very top. You've got pouches to put water bottles, or as you saw, play mats. Another thing I wanted to mention about these pouches is they have a small hole in the bottom of the pouch. This is so if your bottle of water leaks, or if it has a lot of condensation, or you get caught in the rain and water gets in the pouch, there's a place for it to escape. It has handles on the top and the sides, so you can carry it like this if you need to. It has straps on the back, as you would expect with a backpack, but this has a neat feature that is usually one of the first things people talk about, and that's the fact that the straps are magnetic. They are magnetized to, there are 2 magnets right here to keep the straps in place when you are not wearing it, which is a really nice feature. The fact that I can put this down at my local game store and not have to worry that one of the straps is flapped, held out, and about to trip somebody, most likely me, but probably somebody else too. It's a really nice bonus to have. I mentioned this really quick. This is the Peak Design camera latch system. You put this piece on the strap like I have here, and then this bit here gets put onto your camera or piece of camera gear, and then you can easily just slot it right there and it will hold. This is particularly nice for cameras. That way you can have your camera at the ready anytime you need it. And I used this through the entirety of both events and I really liked having it there. That being said, this does not come with the bag. This is an extra thing, so I just mentioned it in passing. This is also the chest strap that makes it a little easier for you to carry if you've got a heavy load. You'll notice that there are loops everywhere on this bag. This is actually like a key ring, so if you had keys that you could put on this, then you can use that, and this is just a stretchy band. There also are straps hidden up inside this pouch here. This pouch is latched via magnet, and you can shove these up here. These straps are for strapping things like maybe a sleeping bag or a tent or something like that. These are good for those sorts of things. They're also good for strapping larger pieces of clothing or things that you can't quite fit in the bag, but you don't want to have to carry. You can just strap it to the bag. And with these loops everywhere on it, you can easily find a place to connect these straps to strap something down to your bag. Okay, now to the security features. The first security feature is this latch. It's a magnetic latch and it does take a little getting used to open it up. And the reason why I say this is part of the security features, it makes it so someone can't just lift the flap and stick their hand in. They have to deal with this latch to get into it. And this latch does slow them down a little bit, which is essentially what security features are. Security features do not completely protect your stuff, but they just make it a little bit more difficult for thieves to get into your bag, which is important. The main security feature of this bag is that all of the zipper pulls are made of this sturdy fabric. At the end of each zipper, there are these loops, like there are everywhere on the bag. And so all you need to do is just loop this through and then attach it to this little peg. And there you go, it's attached. I did that in real time. You saw how easy that was, and now this zipper cannot be pulled down. It can only be pulled maybe half an inch. Also, these bags have 2 zippers on them. The bottom zippers are always locked and looped. If you're still not completely sure that this is enough to protect the things in the top of your bag, that is where these come in, because there are little loops under the flap. So if you are really concerned, you tie it down, this thing isn't getting pulled up. And so you can keep everything in your bag protected. Now, that was the outside of the bag. Let's talk about the inside. You can get into the top of the bag through this flap. You can arrange the insides however you want. So you actually could just remove all of the dividers and have this just be one big open backpack. But what I like to do is I like to set up the bag like this, where I have 3 dividers. This top compartment can be accessed from the sides or the top, which is nice, and these compartments can only be accessed from the side. However, I can lift up the divider like that. It folds. They're origami dividers. So now I can access that second section. The bag also has multiple pouches on each side. You have the top one, and this is the same on the other side as well. That's magnetized, it has a magnetic latch. And then you have the bottom one, which is zippered shut. There's also another pouch hidden in the top here. This is where I like to keep my wallet, my passport, important papers, if I have a badge or something for an event. I like to keep it up in here for a couple of reasons. One, it's very easily accessible. I can just reach my hand in, grab it, I'm good to go. But the other reason is it's hard to find. Not a lot of people know it's there. In fact, there have been people who have owned this bag for 6 months and didn't even know the pouch existed. And also, even when the bag is shut, it's not easy to get to. So that's a third good reason why I keep my important stuff there. And then finally, we have the laptop pouch here in the back, which also has an extra pouch, or set of pouches really, that you can put items in as well. The laptop or tablet pouch is right here. Now, the laptop and tablet pouch has a feature that I really like. There is a way, and I can't really show you because it's not easy to see, but there is a way to adjust the pouch. You can adjust the bottom of that slot. So when you put your tablet or laptop in here, tablet or laptop will be right here, and you won't have to reach down into the bag to pull it out. It'll be just right here at the top of the pouch. It's an added level of protection if you put your bag down too hard on a hard surface. I can't tell you how many times I put down my Amazon photography backpack, which has zero cushioning on the bottom and obviously doesn't have that feature, and I've put it down on the ground, cement, concrete, and I hear chunk of my laptop hitting the ground harder than I meant to. To this day, I'm shocked my laptop wasn't shattered at some point. It's my fault for being that absent-minded, where this bag not only has the feature of resizing it, you don't even really have to worry all that much if you have a massive laptop and you don't have to do the adjustment, because the bottom of this bag is cushioned. There is a layer of cushioning here. So even if you forget and you put it down hard, your stuff's gonna be protected. This bag handled both events very well. I couldn't ask more of it. But if I had to nitpick about a couple of things, and you all know that I can, it's that the material on the outside of the bag is nice, but it scuffs up really easily. None of the scuffs seem to be permanent. You do seem to be able to clean them up, but there are like little marks and scuffs and things that get on the bag very easily. So just literally setting it down on cement, you'll get some scuffs and things that kind of stay on the bag for a little bit longer than I would like. And I wish it was bigger. That was my only real complaint about it. And it's not because it can't hold a lot of stuff. It can, but I just wish it was bigger. It does have a big brother, the 30 liter, that I may pick up one day, but that's gonna be a little while off because, like I said, this thing's pretty expensive. I was walking a lot with this bag on my back, and I went to compare it to the Amazon bag. The Amazon bag, I would put it on, and almost within the first half an hour of walking around with it, it felt like I was carrying a space heater on my back. It got uncomfortable very quickly, and I mean particularly with the warmth of the bag on my back. Now, the peak design isn't perfect in this scenario. I did feel like it was getting kind of warm, but that was after an extended period of time of it on my back. So it does take a lot to get it to that discomfort zone where it's not as comfortable to wear. It takes a while, and frankly, just taking a minute, sitting down, putting the bag on the chair next to you is enough to reset it. So what's my verdict? Well, if you couldn't tell from the entirety of this video, I really love this bag. This bag is an excellent bag. I still believe it is the best thing that I purchased in 2022. Now, I just want to point out that this thing isn't cheap. It is expensive, and I had to save up for it for a little bit before I could pick it up, which is an achievement of itself because I'm not very good at saving money. And I'm glad I did, because this bag made Magic 30 much easier for me to manage, and it also made MagicCon Philly much easier for me to manage in terms of carrying my stuff around. And while I thoroughly enjoyed both of those events, I love this bag. I recommend that if you are looking for a camera bag, take a good look at this and see if it has the features you like, and then pick it up. Affiliate link down below. And that about does it for today. Follow me on TikTok and Twitter. If you want to pick up this bag, use the affiliate link down below. It helps the channel out. Also, be sure to check out the Mtech Cave affiliate link. That would also be a big help. Thank you so much, and you all have a wonderful day. But once the stove sharded, and at the end where all of these little loops are, This show is part of the CIP network, inspiring creativity, one episode at a time.